So today we have a very special guest after Ed accepted a challenge. He tried to make this happen on social media. There were some things going back and forth between us and Mr. Sean Casey, and he did his damnedest to try and eat 12 cheese conies. Came up a little short, but in the words of the mayor, 9 conies and a puke equals 12. So again, we do have Sean Casey. You can find him at the mayor's office on Twitter, and you can see him on MLB Network, where he can be found doing his broadcasting and announcing thing. Sean Casey, what's up, man?
What's up, fellas? How you doing? I tell you what, that video that Ed sent was so funny. I just, and I figured, when he got to, was breaking it down 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, and then I think it was the 32-ounce Mountain Dew that really put you over the top. That's why the 32-ounce Mountain Dew didn't leave the other room in your microbiome to get the other 3 conies down.
I thought for sure it was going to help break down the bread or something, but it definitely did not.
Dude, you're not like Joey. You're not Joey Chestnut, bro. Do not go into any of those. Do not enter any of those contests because you will be out soon.
I'm out.
He just took too long to eat. I don't know. He just paced himself way too much.
Oh, dude, Aaron, it was great with you guys. You guys kind of watching in, being like, oh. So good.
So I know our time's kind of limited today, so I did want to kind of jump into things here. You have a storied history here in Cincinnati. We all know you as the mayor, and you are part of the Reds Hall of Fame. You played with some great players here. We did happen to notice you recently changed your Twitter picture. Looks like maybe you're at a Poison concert there. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
There's quite a few Poison shirts otherwise.
we were at a Poison concert.
Nice.
I think I remember seeing Adam Dunn, Aaron Boone, Danny Graves. Who were some of your favorite teammates during those Red seasons that you were here?
Man, those guys were some of my favorite teammates. I think Todd Walker was the other guy in that picture on my Twitter handle. But yeah, we loved Poison. I don't know. It was so funny, in the back of the plane, get the flights going and stuff. And on the bus, we were always playing like different music. And, Poison at the time was, kind of making a comeback. And we went to a couple shows. And, but I think that's a great thing. It's kind of funny, you look back at your career and like, there's things that you miss, but you really miss the guys. You miss the camaraderie. You miss the times you have together. You miss that fellowship. And, Barry Larkin and Adam Dunn and Austin Kearns and Chris Reitsma, Danny Graves, Todd Walker. I had so many good guys, that I love. Jason LaRue was a dear friend of mine. But I think that's the great thing about Major League Baseball and sports in general, and all of our, as human beings, we want that fellowship. So there was just so many good teammates, probably, too many to name, but, just a lot of great times.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about, you got Barry Larkin there right behind you in the picture. So
yeah, it's a great story. I was always a little intense when I played, I just loved the game. I loved the guys. I loved winning. I loved, just that, whenever we win a game. And I think, I'm trying to think. Lark scored on a walk-off. It was a day game. And I was coming in to, like, give him a big hug. And I think Lark's been, he's been the victim a few times of my jubilation a little too high. And Lark, if you don't know about Lark, he's like a black belt in, like, jiu-jitsu or something. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something legit. Like, Barry Larkin will turn on you, and next thing you know, you're like, I'm in a pretzel, and, you're in big-time pain. So I came in, and I was fired up. He hits home plate, and I'm like, yeah! And he hit me with, like, the hardest shot. It was like he literally took my breath away. He hit me so hard because he was like, I'm not letting Case get in there first. I'm going to hit him so hard that he's going to lose his breath, and he did. So that's the picture. And then, he wrote me something afterwards. I got the picture blown up, and he wrote me something, really some kind words afterwards. So, it's one of my favorite things I have in my house. And Lark was such a big part of my career. He was like the veteran player when I kind of broke into the game that kind of showed me the ropes about how to be a professional and how to be a big leaguer. So, we'll forever be grateful to Lark.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So would you come back to Cincinnati if a broadcasting spot opened up? there is potentially the TV spot. Obviously, we don't want to get into that, but if there was a broadcasting spot open and was offered, would you be willing to look into something like that?
Well, a few years ago, I did do some games for the Reds. I tried to do like 9 to 12 games, and and I think I would. That's never off the table. Bob Castellini is such a good guy. When I'll run into Bob, when I go up to Cincinnati and fill in those guys and maybe talk about doing some games here and there. But I'll never be one of the regulars. I just got 4 kids at home, and it's just my one son just went off to college, and I got one that's a senior, and I got 2 little girls. So, I think once they get out of the house, maybe that'll be an option. But for now, I wouldn't mind bopping in and doing some Reds games and here and there.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Hoping the right people are listening.
Yeah.
Now, you recently retweeted a video that must haunt you, where you got thrown out at first from right field. I think it's
left field. Left field.
Left field. I'm sorry. You're right. Across the field. And I believe it was the 19th anniversary on that. What was going on to even let something like that happen?
Well, it was the 14th anniversary. And, it's one of those moments in your career where you're embarrassed. We all have embarrassing moments in your life. Like, I prided myself on playing hard all the time, 100%. Like, my dad would have killed me if I didn't. It was just like my mentality of playing the game. And earlier in the game, my first at bat, I hit a ball to left center that was so funny because when you go back to that day, Brian Anderson, the center fielder for the White Sox, made a dive, unbelievable play. As a matter of fact, it was the #1 play of the night. And I don't know if you remember like the Sports Center top 10 plays and the untop 10 plays. Well, that catch, my first at bat, was the top 10 play of the night. And then the untop 10 play of the night was me getting thrown out from left, which was great. It was so funny. So I hit the ball, my second at bat, and Joe Creedy, the third baseman for the White Sox, goes up, he catches it. And I'm thinking, oh man, like another line out. Like I lined out my first at bat, and then this one, I hit a bullet and Creedy caught it. And I was kind of like, little pity party for myself. Kind of was like, geez. So I turned thinking that he caught it to walk back to the dugout. And as I turned to walk back, the crowd went crazy. And I was thinking, like, I think it was 7-0 at the time. And it didn't look good because we're playing the White Sox. We were 1-2 in the division. So we're fighting with them for the Central. And then I realized as I changed my angle and I walked like 3-4 feet this way, I got on the other side of Creedy. And I could now see the ball being picked up by Pablo Ozuna. And I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, he didn't catch it. So, so I'm like, now what do I do? You know what I mean? So I'm like, I did what any normal person would do. I stuck my helmet back on because I thought that might, make me faster. And then I just start running down to first base. And you guys know I wasn't known for my running. I'm kind of, like I always say, I look like I'm ice skating in quicksand. I'm just like, I got the bad arm swings. And I'm just like, you're supposed to be cheek to cheek, but I just couldn't get that done. I'm like, and I'm running down to first. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God, I hope I don't get thrown out from left field here. And then sure enough, the crazy thing was Pablo Ozuna is a shortstop. And he was only playing because we had a lefty going. Usually if Scott Pasednik was out there. And if Scott Pasednik was out there, I think I would have been safe. We wouldn't even be talking about this. But Pablo Ozuna's out there, who's the backup shortstop, just threw an absolute missile and got me. So, it's one of those things. It's just you play long enough in the big leagues, you're going to have a couple embarrassing moments. That's my embarrassing moment. The only one in baseball history, too. So I got that going for me.
They say if you watch they say if you watch baseball long enough, you're bound to see something that's never happened before.
Exactly. And it's so funny. Hawk Harrelson, on the White Sox call, who has, mercy. And he was, I can't remember what he said, but he said something like, oh, mercy, like something like that. Like when I went back and listened to it this last time, because I think I watch it every year too, they post it. I caught Hawk saying that, and I kind of got a laugh at it. I'm like, oh, that's a good call right there. But, I think for me, initially, it bothered me because, like I said, I prided myself on how hard I played the game, and it was really an honest mistake. I thought, you never line out and then hustle down to first. You know what I mean? If you line out, you're out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right.
It was a genuine mistake. I thought he caught it, and he didn't, and the rest is history, baby,
Well, speaking of history, the COVID season has been crazy. What observations have you seen from this whole season, and do you think the Reds still have a chance at the playoffs?
Well, I mean, I think we were all excited about the Reds' chances this year. You know, bringing in Castellanos and Moustakas with that rotation. I mean, you know, top to bottom, I think it's one of the best in baseball. The bullpen's kind of, you know, giving up some late games, and but man, I don't know. You know, I think the Reds are running out of time, but also too, I think anything above 500 could be enough. So it's just crazy. It's a crazy year. I really think if this was a 6-month season, I think the great thing about the Reds moving forward is when we get back to 6-month baseball, 162, that team's built for that. That rotation's built for 162. That lineup's built for 162. So, you know, Votto got the big hit the other night, that old walk-off, which was great. And those are all good signs. But I think the Reds have the talent to make a run. So in this next month, you could see them just start rolling people, and next thing you know, they're right in the mix. You know, they're not like a team you look at like maybe the Pirates right now that just don't have the talent to make that run. I don't think the Reds do. So, you know, I see good things in their future, and obviously this year is a sprint, not a marathon, and they're running out of room in the track. But I do think if they could hit a quick run here, they could still be in it.
And do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think I saw something reading the other day where the Reds had hit something like 243 or something like that balls batted into play, as opposed to the league average, which is something around like 260, I believe. So, I mean, it's just a matter of the balls actually starting to fall where they're supposed to.
Well, that's what I say too. Like, they got so many good hitters in that lineup, top to bottom, veteran guys that know what they're doing. And so I think that's a big part of it. You know, sometimes as a hit, I always say over 6 months, if you have a career year, you're going to have 4 awesome months. You're going to have 1 month where you're just okay, and you're going to have 1 month where you suck. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way it goes. And I feel like the tough part about this season is, yeah, if the Reds are putting balls in play that aren't getting hits, then that means maybe this month and the next month are those months that you kind of grind a little bit. And for this season, that's not a good thing. So, like I said, hopefully in these next few weeks, they all kind of start clicking on all cylinders, the pitching and the offense, and they can make a run and get to the postseason. Because I think the great thing about the postseason this year is you just got to get in. You know, you just get in and, you don't know what could happen.
Do you think the COVID season is having like an impact on the players? Like we saw the other night that Eugenio Suarez was just excited and got a little emotional just seeing cardboard cutouts of his family in the stands. Like, do you think that's having an effect on their players' games?
I think it has an effect on your psyche. I think there's no doubt about that because, I think you love having the fans there. It brings you energy. You know, you love having your family there, your wife or your kids or your parents or whatever it is. So there's definitely something about people. I think us as a human species need fellowship. We need people. And I'm sure for these guys, to play 6 months with no fans, I can't imagine that. 2 months, you could do it because you can mentally just get through it. But, yeah, I'm sure for these guys having a different routine, having to be quarantined a lot in your room when you're on the road and then, go right to the park and back to the hotel, I'm sure it gets old after a while. So, this is definitely it's definitely probably tough for a few guys.
So what would you say then to a majority of what I've seen on Reds Facebook and Reds Twitter where everyone's calling for David Bell's job? How do you think he's handled this season thus far?
I love David Bell, man. I love Buddy. I love that whole family. I think they're baseball guys. I think Dave does a good job, man. I really do. Like, I'm not in the clubhouse. I don't have the heartbeat as a player. But I know David as a player when I played against him and how hard he played the game, how much knowledge that he has. And so for me, like I said, every team's going to have a month or two where they don't play well. I think the Reds just had one of those months that was just weird. Moustakas missed some games too. And, it was a little weird of a month. So I'm not ready to call for David Bell's head. I think David Bell is a good manager. I think he's the right guy for that clubhouse and that team. And I think when, like I said, when it gets back to normal and you can get 6 months of baseball, I think David Bell's the right guy.
Switching back to just some stories. I was listening to a bunch of your podcasts that you've done recently, and you did 2 with Jim Day, and you shared some great stories on there. And one of the stories you shared was Joe Nuxall with his sandwiches and then his creepy white van. But you didn't share any Marty Brennaman stories. Do you have any good stories with Marty Brennaman?
Oh, my God. Well, Marty's just a beauty of a person. You know what I mean? Marty's kind of that legendary figure in Cincinnati. I remember when I first did the Reds Caravan. I just finished my rookie year with the Reds, and in the off season I did the Caravan, and I was just so young. I was 24 years old, and like I said, I didn't realize how big of a legend Marty was. You know what I mean? Is and was at the time, and so we're on the Caravan, and Marty's. We're at I can't remember where we're at. It's like the Fred Flintstone Club of Dayton. You know what I mean? I can't remember what they're called, but it's the men, whatever men's club it is there, right? And so they're going through the thing, and Marty's going through his stuff, and one of the old timers in this men's club is just raises his hand, and Marty's like, "Yeah, sir," right there, and he's like, "Hey, Marty, who does your hair?" And it was just. And I looked over at Marty's hair. Back in the day, he had it looked like Lord Helmet. He had this his hair was kind of I don't even know what he was trying to do, because now it's short. I'm like, Marty, you look so much better with short hair. Yep. I'm like, I don't know what you were trying to do with Spaceballs hair you had working on back in the day. But, and then Marty gave some funny answer back to him that I probably can't even say on this podcast. But, it was just, it's just so Marty. And I remember one time too, he was, Marty would bury us, that was just his deal. Marty was great because he told the truth. And at the end of the day, we had some years where we weren't playing well. And I think as a player and you're younger, maybe you take offense to that. But, I tried not to, but there was times that, Marty would bury guys. And I remember one day he was on a flight, and we were getting on the flight to go somewhere. And I remember walking to the back, and I remember looking at Marty and just going, "Man, you're one cantankerous SOB." I think I said something like that. And he was like, "Cantankerous." I'm like, "Yeah, you're just that guy," But it was just a funny interaction with he and I. And, he always tells that story to this day. But, Marty's just Marty's the legend, man. I love Marty. He's just, like I said, when I was a young kid and you hear Marty crushing you, you're like, "Oh, this guy's unbelievable." As you get to know Marty, you're like, the guy's harmless, man. He's just a good guy. He loves the Reds. He loves the fans, loves that organization. And, him not being in the booth is definitely a loss for baseball and a loss for the Reds.
Yeah, it's been crazy just listening to the radio. And the first time I turned a game on this year on the radio, and I'm like, wait a minute, where is Marty? I had to remind myself, oh, yeah, that's right. He retired last year.
So has he done any games this year?
No.
No, yeah.
I think he made a comment at the end of the year that he doesn't want to.
He doesn't. Great.
I think it would be great though if the Reds do make a playoff run and maybe get to the World Series this year. I think it'd be awesome if he just popped in the booth and called an inning or two.
Are you kidding me? If they make the World Series, Marty Brennaman will be like, "Listen, I got it, guys. I'll do every game."
I got this, Tommy. You go sit down for a bit, enjoy the game.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do all the games. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Now,
another question I got for you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, didn't you end up catching one of the Todd Frazier hits in the when he was here, belting home runs for the
in the Derby?
All-Star game?
Derby. You know who it was?
Yeah.
It was Josh. It was actually Josh Donaldson hit it, but it was obviously the Frazier. We like to look at it as the Frazier home run derby because it was so great. It was so great. I was living. Obviously I worked for Major League Baseball Network, and we had a box. For some reason, we were I think we were the furthest box in the history of boxes at the All-Star game. We were left field. We were left field corner, third deck. I think we were an afterthought, right? So I'm like, oh man, we're far away, right? And Greg Amsinger, who's the host of MLB Network, he's like, "Case, you think they can hit him out this way?" And I looked, and I'm like, that's 480 feet probably. I'm like, they can. If someone gets a hold of one and pulls one foul, no doubt they can get a – so I swear, it's unbelievable. As we're talking, I got nachos, and I think I'm having a beer in my hand. I got nachos and jalapenos, and I'm about to sit down, and all of a sudden, Greg Amsinger, after he asked me that question, 15 seconds later goes, "Here we go." And as he says, "Here we go," I look up and I see this ball coming right for my face. And I'm like, if I don't drop this nachos and beer right now, I'm going to wear this right in the teeth. Like, it was that close. So I dropped my stuff. I put my hands up and I was like, I still got it, right? So this thing's zipping. Josh Donaldson hit a bullet just foul, and I caught it. It would have hit me right in the teeth. So boom, I end up catching it. And I'm like, and so then they put me up on the board because I caught it. And I think the crowd realizes it's me. And I'm just like, yeah. And then the crowd starts chanting Casey. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what a cool moment for me. Like, being in Cincinnati, catching that foul ball. And then the crowd starts chanting Casey. It was like such a cool moment. And the next day I saw Anthony Rizzo on the field. He came up to me. He's like, Casey, he's like, were you at the Derby yesterday? I go, yeah. He goes, the crowd started chanting Casey. And I felt like it was for no reason. I was like, no, it wasn't for no reason. I caught a foul ball. It would have hit me right in the face. It was an unbelievable play. So it was just such a cool moment. And like I said, being back in Cincinnati and just seeing all that crowd for the softball, celebrity softball game, and then the home run derby, like, it just gives me chills because it's just home for me. And I love going back, and I love seeing everybody.
Like you said before, you're still the mayor.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so grateful.
My cousin was he ran one of the cameras for the Jumbotron down at the ballpark, and he told me I need to ask you about DDP and Goldberg showing up at batting practice one day.
Oh my God, that's right. That was 99. Was that 99? It was 98 or 99. It's when Goldberg was the champion, that was WCW champion, and him and DDP came to batting practice. And we were such big wrestling fans, like me, Dimitri Young. We kind of dragged Pokey Reese in. Aaron Boone was like kind of like a fair weather wrestling fan. We're like, all right, dude, you're out of here. Like, you're not really a wrestling fan. You get out. You know what I mean? But we just had so many guys at the time that were big wrestling fans, especially me, Gravy, and Dimitri. And we were thrilled that those guys came. And that's when we started doing. I don't know if you go back to those times, especially that '99 team. If someone homered, we'd give the 2 sweet sign when you cross home plate, just because like the NWO stuff. But it was really cool. Goldberg was really a cool guy bringing the belt for us. DDP, they're just good guys. And we kind of ended up getting a relationship with some of those guys. And we were able to like parlay into some free tickets down the road. I remember we were in Colorado with the Rockies one time, and we were front row at WCW, which was really cool. It was like a bunch of us. And then we were also part, I think, in 2000 of the Pillman. Brian Pillman had a charity event with all the wrestlers, and me, Dimitri, and Gravy were able to get into the ring and kind of live a dream of getting in the ring and at some of those matches.
That is awesome.
Well, as we're wrapping things up, we do have some rapid fire questions here for you, so we can get you out of here on time. Mm-hmm. So Ed and I are going to switch off. Ed, I don't think I can ask the first question, though, man.
I'll ask the first question. How many Coneys do you think you can put down?
Not 12, obviously. Ed, if you can't do 12, I can't either. I don't know. I think I could rip down. You rip down 9. I could probably rip down. I could probably go Coney for Coney till maybe 9.
There you go.
Maybe we could tie. We would tie. I'd definitely be sick though. There's no doubt about it. I'm more of a, and I like the 5-way. I like the 5-way. This is what I wear. I go to Skyline. I go, give me the 5-way with a side of chili, because the chili always, like, I feel like the spaghetti softs it up too quick. So I gotta get the chili on there more, and then I always get 2 Coneys on the side. So 5-way, 2 Coneys. It's a good call. Side of chili.
That's a good meal.
Twirl or cut?
What?
Twirl or cut? Your 5-way.
Cut.
That's a correct answer. It was a big debate on Twitter last week.
Was there? I love it.
Go ahead,
would you ever eat one of those cheese conies wrapped up in a slice of La Rosa's pizza?
Wait, is that real?
Yeah, oh yeah, have it at the ballpark.
Oh my gosh. why don't we just throw some Grater's ice cream on top with some Montgomery and ribs on the side? You know what I mean? Just make it a whole Cincinnati thing, you know?
Jeff Brantley would be in heaven.
Jeff Brantley would, the cowboy would be in heaven. Oh, heck yeah, I'd eat one of those. What are you, nuts? I'd crush that thing.
Who could put down more beers, you or Johnny Gomes?
Oh, I think Johnny Gomes. Johnny Gomes could definitely throw a few back. So I'd have to give it to Johnny Gomes.
Pat McAfee or Michael Cole?
Oh, my gosh. Man, I love both those guys. I think I'm going to have to go with who's hot right now, so I have to go with Pat McAfee. He's also, you know, I grew up here in Pittsburgh. He's also a Pittsburgh guy down the street. So, you know, I've gotten to know Pat a little bit in the last, in this last year or so. Seems like a really good dude. But Michael Cole, he's a beauty, man. Michael Cole's a beauty.
He should have brought you to the ring with him. Looks like your arms look still jacked. He may have actually won. There you go.
That's right. Cole, bring me next time, brother.
Aaron Boone or Brett Boone?
Oh, I got it. Well, I'm closer with Aaron, but Brett's a beauty, man. I remember when I first got to the big leagues, Brett was the second baseman, and he made plays I've never seen before. Like, he was the best second baseman I'd ever seen until Pokey Reese came. It was crazy. I'm like, I've played with two of the greatest second basemen in the history of the game on the Reds. But Booney was just a beauty, and I remember saying to Booney one time, Booney, that's unbelievable. I can't believe you made that plays. And I remember Booney telling me, I'm the best this game's ever seen, Case. I'm like, whoa, that's a big time confidence. That's why he calls himself the Boone. You know what I mean? So I love them both. Their dad Bob was our manager too. That's a great family. But Aaron's a really good friend of mine, so I'd have to go with Aaron.
All right, I think this is the last one that we have. Would you rather get hit with an Aroldis Chapman fastball or take a chest chop by John Cena again?
Oh, man, give me Chapman. Give me Aroldis Chapman right in the ribs, 106. Give me Chapman in the ribs for 106. I don't ever want to get hit with John Cena chop. I got hit with a John Cena chop right in the heart, and I was like, it was the first time I thought I ever had a heart attack. I was like, no, something did not. I was like, he clogged two arteries with the chop. I was like, ah! I was like, piercing pain. So give me the Chapman 106 right in the ribs. I'll take it.
That's fantastic. Well, we do thank you for your time. You made one of our dreams come true, much like somebody was able to do for you in the wrestling ring. It's not every day you get to interview the mayor of Cincinnati. Don't forget, you can check him out on Twitter at the mayor's office and on MLB Network, where he's always showing that face anywhere you can get it in. Sean, man, it's been an awesome conversation. We do appreciate it.
I appreciate Aaron, Ed. Thank you so much. Maybe we can do it down the line again. And I appreciate the effort, Ed, with the Coneys. It was three less, but it works for me, brother. And I appreciate you guys. And the podcast was great. Hopefully, we'll see you guys down soon, and maybe see you in Cincinnati.
Well, we're hoping to see you back here for the playoff run, right?
Yes. If they make a run, we'll be in the playoffs. You'll see me.
Sounds
Just
good.
one more thing I wanted to bring up, and one of the reasons why I wanted to do this interview with you is because, and I don't remember what year it was, but I remember sitting up in the stands before a game one day, and they did it where they had the little kids run out the positions, and then they would announce you guys. You would run out the position, and you guys would sign a ball for them and send them back to the crowd or whatever. And I'll never forget, and this is a story I'll never forget, but I'll never forget, all the players kind of stood there above the kids and signed the autograph. You got down like at the kids' level and talked to them and signed the autograph. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like, no disrespect to the other players, but like the fact that you got down to the kids' level, signed the autograph for them, and like I think you gave them a high five or whatever. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Oh, I appreciate it. No, I used to love that when we would go out with the kids there. And, I remember one time, I think my dad told me, he's like, when you have kids – oh, sorry about that. When you have kids, you look like such a giant to them. And that, when you get down to their level, they can really – so I always remember that. So I always tried to whenever I would be with a kid, try to get down to his level so that he could see that we're equal. So I appreciate that. And, things like that with the kids and the Casey kids some of the things we did with giving tickets to underprivileged kids, that stuff you miss. You miss that impact that you can have every day on the field. And, I'm grateful for that. So I appreciate that, Ed. Thanks, man.
All right. Well, that's been Sean Casey, the mayor, here with us on Pardon the Punctuation. We do appreciate it, sir.
Okay. See you guys soon.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, man. Thanks, Ed.
Have a good one.
Okay, you too.